Well, good evening, Neil Laughton. We're very much looking forward to welcoming you to Brooklands on the 18th of July. I've been reading your book for the second time, actually, really enjoying it. And you learned to fly helicopters, Robinsons. And can you tell me a little bit about any exciting moments that you had in your helicopter?
Hi, Harry. Great to talk to you, and really looking forward to seeing you guys on the 18th of July at Brooklands Museum for my talk. Um, yeah, so I'm going to be sharing lots of fun, exciting, adventurous stories to your audience on the 18th. It's very difficult. I don't want to give too many of my secrets away, but as you ask about helicopters, let me quickly share my experiences. So I've had a long flying career, very amateur, but long flying career from my teenage years. Started with hang gliders, moved to paragliders, paramotors, paratrikes, fixed wing aircraft, and helicopters. So I really should know what I'm doing with regards to flying. However, it's one of the weirdest things that I discovered that when you learn to drive, you have L plates, and you've got to drive with a mentor or a teacher or an instructor. When you learn to fly helicopters, once you learn how to hover, you're basically on your own. So the instructor hops out, and you've got to do these missions to different parts of the country, totally, relatively speaking, with L plates on. It always was a mystery to me. Anyway, my very first cross-country flying exercise between three airfields started at Denham, went up north to Northumberland, or Northampton rather, and then sort of circled around to another airport, which I won't mention the name once you've heard this story. But it was the second landing. It was hot and sweaty. I was, very much a learner. Got it all wrong. Touched down, went for a cup of tea, got my book signed, and then it was back in the hover for the last leg. So I was given permission to take off, but I hesitated. I did a bit of a panic. Am I the right height? Am I in the right lane? Takeoff routine, etc. So I hesitated, and then I heard a sort of familiar RAF type voice on the radio. And I just, having been given permission to take off, I simply just froze, stayed in the hover, just thought I'd waited out for a sort of 4 or 5 seconds, whereas I should have been taking off down the runway and heading up into the sky. But then there was another command from somewhere. I wasn't sure. I was now in a blind panic, waiting for something to happen, but not really quite sure whether Tower was talking to me. Then this rather military voice came back on the airwaves. So I just froze. I stayed where I was, right in the middle of my takeoff run, and literally in front of my visor, about 100 feet above the ground, about 200 yards in front of me, 9 red jets of the red arrows flew about 450 knots right in front of where I would have been lifting at that very moment. So it was a very near escape from probably the world's worst aircraft disaster in peacetime.
Neil, you've done some incredible things. I mean, you've climbed Everest, you've been to the North and South Poles, you've climbed the 7 Peaks, amazing adventures by land, sea, and air. Neil, one of the most impressive adventures you've been on is flying with wounded servicemen in Kenya from Mt Kilimanjaro to Mount Kenya along the Rift Valley. Can you just in 60 seconds just tell us what that was all about?
Yeah, Harry, that was a mission in about 2014, 2015, whereby I took, I think, 8 wounded soldiers on a paratriking expedition in Kenya, in Africa. It was quite a challenging mission because these soldiers were missing limbs, missing arms, and in some cases had PTSD. So what we were doing is a pretty adventurous and somewhat dangerous free-flying expedition through foreign terrain, foreign lands, the Rift Valley, from Mount Kilimanjaro to Mount Kenya. And for example, my co-pilot, a chap called Corporal Kyle Royce, he had lost both his legs and a hand to a rocket attack in Afghanistan a few years before, and he was my co-pilot and navigator. So we were flying, two of us, but only one of us had two legs. So it was a challenging mission. Fantastic to be able to do something with wounded soldiers and working with Help for Heroes, who also provided personnel for the support team in Land Rovers on the ground for that mission. So it was a fantastic trip, 1,000 kilometers, flying two-seat Paratrikes, kind of seat of your pants type flying above, below, and sometimes through cloud in the most spectacular scenery. And of course, we had our oh dear me and very close shave moments, as you'd expect on a mission like that. And maybe we may even mention it during the talk on the 18th of July.
Yep, sounds absolutely fantastic, Neil. I've enjoyed reading about that trip. And we, as I said, we very much look forward to welcoming you to Brooklands on the 18th of July. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Harry.